Today on Variant, it's all about the Power Rangers. Welcome to Variant, where we love comics more than Rita wants to conquer Earth. I'm your host, Arris. As I've said many times on the show before, I was a huge Mighty Morphin Power Rangers fan growing up. Well, between the current Boom Studios Power Rangers comic and the new Power Rangers movie this weekend, it's the perfect time to finally give you all the history of the Power Rangers. Just so we're all on the same page, I'm mainly going to be focusing on the Power Rangers and not its predecessor, Super Sentai. I may mention Super Sentai from time to time, but that is not the main focus of today's episode. With that clarified, let's move on to some Power Rangers love. The Power Rangers first debuted on August 28th in 1993 and was a massive part of helping launch the Fox Kids TV block in the 90s, which was easily one of my favorite TV blocks as a kid. It's actually where almost all my favorite childhood shows came from. For instance, Batman the Animated Series, Spider-Man the Animated Series, X-Men the Animated Series, Tiny Toon Adventures, Bobby's World, Big Bad Beetleborgs, The Tick, Goosebumps, and so many more. Anyway, the Power Rangers is an American take on the Japanese Super Sentai TV series. Every scene from the Power Rangers fighting in costume is literally just Super Sentai footage with an American dub over it, which explains why some of the storylines were just out there. They only had so much to work with to make an already existing show a completely new show. This also explains why the Yellow Ranger doesn't have a skirt and the Pink Ranger does, because in the original series the Yellow Ranger was a dude. I've actually mentioned it in a past episode, but it's a fun fact, so I'm repeating it, and you can't stop me. Now, before I get into the actual premise of the Power Rangers series, let's talk about the broadcast history for a bit. Power Rangers was produced and distributed by Saban Entertainment from 1993 all the way up until the end of 2001. But at the end of 2001, when Power Rangers Wild Force was in early production, Saban and the Power Rangers were bought out and taken over by the Walt Disney Company. Because quite frankly, Disney owns the world. This is why you see the Power Rangers in Disney theme parks for a bit, and airing on Disney-owned channels like ABC Family or Jetix. However, Saban bought the rights back from Disney in 2010, and the series has been broadcast on Nickelodeon ever since. Anyway, let's dive into the premise of the Power Rangers franchise. No matter what incarnation of the Power Rangers you're talking about, whether it be Mighty Morphin, Zeo, Time Force, Ninja Storm, and so on, the premise is pretty much always the same. It deals with a group of teenagers being hand-selected and given powers to fight various threats and villains, such as aliens, demons, and witches. And in order to gain these powers, they have to use their morphers and do their morphing call, the most popular one being Morphin time! Since basically every incarnation of the Power Rangers follows this formula, I'm just going to talk about the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, since it was first and it's what the new movie is loosely based on. Plus, it's my personal favorite incarnation of the Power Rangers. Mighty Morphin originally consisted of 5 teenagers from Angel Grove: Jason the Red Ranger, Zach the Black Ranger, Billy the Blue Ranger, Kimberly the Pink Ranger, and Trini the Yellow Ranger. They were selected by Zordon and Alpha 5 to become the Power Rangers when the evil Rita Repulsa decided she wanted to conquer Earth. Once the 5 teenagers with attitude, as Zordon would say, were selected, he gives them power coins and morphers that gives them the ability to transform into the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. With this new power that increases their overall abilities, they also have access to an array of weapons, like Jason's Power Sword, Zach's Power Axe, Billy's Power Lance, Kimberly's Power Bow, and Trini's Power Daggers. Each of them also have a wrist communicator, which is kind of like an Apple Watch nowadays, a blade blaster that can be used as a gun/knife, although it always looked like an old school turkey cutter to me. I mean, just look at that thing. That looks old school. Even cooler than their weapons, they have their own massive robots called Dinozords. The Red Ranger has the Tyrannosaurus, Black Ranger the Mastodon, Blue Ranger Triceratops, Pink Ranger Pterodactyl, and the Yellow Ranger the Saber-toothed Tiger. But apparently having your own giant dinosaur robot isn't cool enough. So of course, all 5 robots can combine and create the super powerful Megazord. But besides the obvious cool factor, they needed their Zords and the Megazord to fight Rita Repulsa's monsters, because Rita would always make her monsters become giants by throwing her wand to Earth from somewhere in space and telling her monsters to grow. The Power Rangers would of course then summon their Zords and combine them to fight said monsters. Now, as many of us know, the Power Rangers later got a 6th member, Tommy Oliver, the Green Ranger, who was easily the most popular Power Ranger of all time. I know he definitely was and still is my favorite Power Ranger of all time. He had that awesome gold shield on his chest and controlled the freaking Dragon Zord, which I think is by far the coolest Zord. He summoned the Dragon Zord with his Dragon Dagger. The Green Ranger was originally an evil ranger controlled by Rita, but he eventually turned to the side of good and fought alongside the Power Rangers until his power ran out. At which point Zordon made him the White Ranger. As the White Ranger, he controlled the Tiger Zord and Saba, his talking sword, who was a character in itself. Needless to say, I also thought the White Ranger was awesome. Basically, Tommy was always the coolest Ranger to me. I know a lot of people may disagree and be like, nah bro, the OG Red Ranger Jason, who later became the Gold Ranger, is where it's at. but I personally always gotta go with Tommy as the Green or White Ranger. As the White Ranger, he could ride on top of the Tiger Zord into battle. I mean, sure, you can clearly tell it was an action figure sitting on top of a Tiger Zord puppet, but the point is, he rode his Zord into battle, and that's baller. But now let's talk a little bit about Zordon, since he created the Power Rangers and is going to be a huge part of the new movie, where he's going to be played by Bryan Cranston. Zordon was a wise galactic sage who fought for the side of good and was like, evil can go screw. Obviously, he's most known for creating the Power Rangers. He was part of the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and stayed a regular character until Power Rangers Turbo. He eventually died during the finale of Power Rangers in Space. Then you also have Alpha 5, who is basically just Zordon and the Power Rangers robot assistant, who is most famously known for saying "aye aye aye" when something went wrong. And he better say that at least once in the movie, purely for nostalgia's sake. He appeared in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Zeo, and the first several episodes of Power Rangers Turbo. As for Rita Repulsa, she's a female sorceress bent on intergalactic domination and is being played by Elizabeth Banks in the new movie. In the series, she had conquered many worlds before Earth, in service of Lord Zed. Lord Zed comes into play a little later in the series, and I imagine will appear in a sequel to the new Power Rangers movie, so I'll talk about him when and if that time comes. Then we have another character who's making an appearance in the movie, Goldar, although he looks to be nothing like his TV counterpart. I haven't seen the movie yet, but from what I've seen, it looks like he's gonna be a giant glob of gold that Rita controls. Which, to be honest, is kinda dumb, but in the series, he was cool. He was a humanoid ape with red eyes who was an excellent warrior, and he was called Goldar because he wears golden armor. Then we have the Putty Patrol, which is just an army unit that Rita uses to hold off the Power Rangers for short periods of time. They're not really a huge threat, but there's always a crap ton of them, so it's annoying for the Power Rangers more than anything. Clearly there's a lot more to it, like they all get new Zords at different points, some Rangers leave, new members come in, then we get the Alien Rangers, the Zeo Rangers, Turbo Rangers, and so on. However, this is a history of the Power Rangers, so I'm going to show you what I mean by naming every single incarnation of the show to date, starting with the earliest all the way to the most current. It's a lot. Are you guys ready? Okay, you have Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Mighty Morphin Alien Rangers, Power Rangers Zeo, Power Rangers Turbo, Power Rangers in Space, Power Rangers Lost Galaxy, Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue, Power Rangers Time Force, Power Rangers Wild Force, Power Rangers Ninja Storm, Power Rangers Dino Thunder, Power Rangers SPD, Power Rangers Mystic Force, Power Rangers Operation Overdrive, Power Rangers Jungle Fury, Power Rangers RPM, Power Rangers Samurai, Power Rangers Super Samurai, Power Rangers Mega Force, Power Rangers Super Mega Force, Power Rangers Dino Charge, Power Rangers Dino Supercharge, and the most current Power Rangers series, Ninja Steel. And people say getting into comic books is hard. As for reading recommendations and watching recommendations, since this is mainly a TV show, watch any of the Power Rangers series, but I personally recommend Mighty Morphin, Zeo, or Turbo since those are the ones I grew up on. Also watch the original Power Rangers movies from the 90s, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie, and Turbo, a Power Rangers movie. Also be sure to check out Boom Studios' new Power Rangers comic, it's actually really good. And lastly, definitely be sure to check out the new Justice League / Power Rangers crossover comic. With guys rocking facial hair more often than ever, a razor is a must-have item. Well, my friends, DollarShaveClub.com delivers high-quality razors right to your door, and if you go to DollarShaveClub.com/variant or click the link in the description, you'll get a 1-month trial of any razor for $1. Yeah, just 4 quarters, people. You also get to pick what kind of razors you want. Personally, I'm a fan of the executive razor, but they don't stop with just blades. They have Dr. Carver's shave butter, which is freaking awesome, body cleanser, shampoo, and a bunch more. You definitely have to check it out for yourself. Just go to DollarShaveClub.com/variant or click the link in the description and get a 1-month trial of any razor for $1. There's no catch, hidden fees, or commitments, and you can cancel whenever you want. So get your shave on, my friends, and make your face buttery smooth. First up for Wednesday, March 22nd, we have Action Comics issue 976. This is the Superman Reborn finale, and as it all wraps up, Superman's life is going to change forever. Here we have The Flash issue 19. Wally's quest for knowledge about his villainous father takes him and Barry Allen to the Australian outback and into the debt of Captain Boomerang. And finally, we have Hal Jordan in the Green Lantern Corps issue 17. As both the torchbearer of the Green Lantern Corps and the White Lantern of Life, Kyle Rayner's proved that he can wield the entire emotional spectrum, but when forced to choose, which ring will he don? And that's going to bring another episode of Variant to a close. But remember, if you like the channel, be sure to subscribe and then hit the bell so you're notified every time we upload a new video. Also, remember, you can like our Variant Facebook page to keep up with the show and all things comic related. You can also follow Variant on Twitter at Variant Comics or me on Twitter at Arris_Quinones. But I'll see you guys next week when I talk about all things comics. In order to gain these powers, they have to use their morphers and do their Morphin call from 1993 all the way up until 1981. What? My brain went somewhere else.